The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. I was at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 298th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sunwitz. I am the host of this lovely show. And joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how you doing?
I am doing well. It's been a pretty interesting, good week for me. Started a side gig, slinging Amazon packages because, why not? Extra money for Japan would be cool. And, working 80 hours a week apparently is just not enough for me. So, so I'm doing something stupid, but it is getting me out. It's getting me to see parts of the city that I've been in my whole life, like 43 years, and parts of the city I hadn't seen. So that's pretty cool. I also like driving, and it's giving me a chance to listen to podcasts that I don't usually listen to because that's what I do while I'm driving now. So that's pretty cool. But, yeah, other than that, everything's great. On my countdown to Japan, which I leave January 2nd, and the FOMO, that FOMO, the reason I've been to so many shows is really, really, really starting to kick in now that, it's really, really starting to kick in now that we're getting closer to Full Gear, and it's just like, FTR is going for a title. And shit, it seems more and more like Takeshita and Okada might be happening in New Jersey, and it's just like, oh my God, it is torture. I'm not going at this point. At this point, it's too late to really change the plan. So it is what it is at this point. But God, it bothers me.
Yeah, no, it's a whole ordeal. So I understand the stress of it all and everything like that, and I get that's a whole ordeal. Like I said, I've always wanted to go to Japan, but it's such an ordeal to make that happen. And again, it's such a journey. Like I want to do it at some point, but it would take a Herculean effort for me to be able to do that, I feel like.
Dude, let me tell you, if you are a person, if you have a general idea when you go and you can watch the prices, I literally am paying less to go to Japan than I did to go to London last year. It really is just, you just gotta kind of watch out and be ready for, when you're ready when, the discounts and stuff like that come.
Oh, sure.
But let me tell you, it's not as hard as you think. And because of the price of the yen, it's actually very affordable. And this is me not saying any of my original thoughts. These thoughts were all stolen from my good friend JR, who unfortunately this week, and I'm just not trying to throw this in here, but he had to unfortunately put his dog down this week. So,
yeah, I saw that.
So my thoughts, prayers, energy, any positive information you have, whatever you believe in as far as positive energy, please send it JR's way because he's going through it. But what I say, everything I say about Japan, he's the one that's been there. And I have my contact, my good buddy Issa there. But other than that, everything is him saying, hey, it's really not that bad. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to believe you. But I really have no idea.
No, and shouts out to JR, man. Hope he's doing well. We unfortunately had to put down our dog a few months ago, and there's no worse feeling in the world. So I send all my love to that man. Hope he's doing all right. JR is a legend. We appreciate him and everything he does for this show. And if you want to give him some love, I know he would appreciate it on social media. I know we plug his stuff on social media all the time, so you can go and find him that way. So, but either way, we got a lot to get into real quick. And a positive note from AEW, we got a lot to touch on because there's heading into Blood and Guts next week. We had a lot of setting up for this, and then also some big announcements from this show. We got a lot to get into from Dynamite this week. Before we get into everything, though, we want to make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to us on. We appreciate the support. We would also appreciate it if you rate, review, subscribe, share us around with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and then also give us a follow at AT Elite Pod. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this entire show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And the big news of the week is actually a pretty fun one, which is the fact that the All Elite Wrestling book has officially released. It officially came out. This book is All Elite. It dropped on... I personally ordered mine on Amazon. Is where I ordered mine. It's written by Keith Elliott Greenberg and has a bunch of inserts and excerpts from AEW wrestlers from across the years. Tons of amazing pictures too, some of which I don't believe has ever been seen too, which is also really, really cool. And it just goes through the history of All Elite Wrestling from 2019 to now. And I mean, it's wild. I've glanced at it and I haven't read all of it yet, but it is very, very cool to have. And it's also just like a really cool, just a really nice, like coffee table book. I feel like where you can just have that out. It like is just a really, really great, thing to just keep out and just people can skim through and stuff like that. It's just got such great pictures from the history of AEW. Yeah, I mean, like this was announced a while back, and it's finally the pre-orders are all set. Now they're all in, and it's cool to have this now, honestly.
It is. I got lucky enough, and I think this was more than our first time, but me and JR were at Revolution in LA this year, and Floyd talking about the shows he went to again to. No, there's actually a point to this one. No, Keith Elliott Greenberg was there. He was there, and we had quite a long conversation with him, and we friendly rapport. He had ghost written on some books that I read. Wrote a book about the NWO. I don't read a lot. I don't. I'm very open about that. I prefer movies and TV. Call me slow, whatever. But yes, I prefer TVs and movies. So so when it comes down to it, that's a big thing with me. So I don't read a lot, but I knew his name, because dude, look at his catalog. It is a lot of books, and he loves professional wrestling. Like, that's what we did for that hour or so. We just talked about wrestling I grew up on, wrestling JR grew up on, what we liked in AEW right now, all sorts of things. It was just a genuine good conversation. Really nice guy, just really cool, and you can just tell how much he loves wrestling. I always say passion is its own language. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. When you hear someone speaking with passion, something triggers in me. It's like I don't care what you're talking about, I automatically become more interested in it. It was great talking. I listened to him, which is, if you know me, that's saying something, because, I'm a dominant talker. And so when I wanted to just sit there and this guy who had experienced wrestling so much and talk to these people and, privy to information that he probably can't ever tell us about, you know what I mean? So it was just cool. He was like that guy, that knows shit. So, but I did tell
the inside scoop. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell everyone. I did say I was going to review the pictures on the show, which I was going to do. But I kind of had another thought with Austin before the show. And if it works out, it's going to be a surprise. If it does not work out, I'll be reviewing the pictures next week. Because I tell people, I'm not reading it. I lived it. I'm good. I mean, it's, I feel that way about a lot of things. I feel that way. Like, if there's a book about 9/11, I'm like, dude, I lived it. I don't need the book, you know. AEW, they're at the first show. They're at the last pay-per-view. I was at every fucking fan fest that they ever did. I was at shows with no one in the crowd, with like me and like a few hundred people. I was at shows where I was at the biggest show ever. You know what I mean? I was at the smallest show ever. I was at the biggest show ever. So I don't really feel like I need to read it, but you know, I will if something happens, I will definitely make sure I sit down and read, because it's only 220 pages, and I'd say 50 or 60 of the pages are pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Am I describing it accurately?
I mean, like I said, it's a coffee book table, so yes.
Yeah, it's not like you're not, it's not like you're really getting like, oh my God, let me tell you, like this secret thing happened. It's just really the history of AEW. And another way you can find out and know the history of AEW? We are in episode 298 of this show. Just go start at 1.
Yeah.
It literally starts before the company starts, before they ever have a show, before they ever have a match. So there's another way to do it. That's just another way. Just throwing it out there. It's 300 episodes. You can hear who me and Austin thought were going to be great and we missed on, and you can hear who we may have hit on, which, I got to tell you, like, people that have changed my mind since the beginning, Darby Allin and Eddie Kingston. Like, yep. I liked Eddie Kingston in TNA as a voice. He was the leader of the new LAX, and I liked him in that role. But it was like, oh, so he's going to wrestle now? Oh, he's going to main event shows? Oh, no. And he's completely changed how I feel about him over that time.
And then you can see my slow descent into enjoying Jungle Boy Jack Perry to my utter hatred of Jack Perry.
Dude, listen to me. Go listen to the episode right after the first dance or whatever, or the last dance, and then listen to me the day after the show after he was no longer with us.
Oh no, I feel like I was even more in a position of just like I can't. I was more distraught than you were. Like, let's be frank. I feel like I think you were madder. I was just distraught, I feel like.
Yeah, so it's just like you can through our episodes,
you can pinpoint all of the all the big key moments in AEW's history, when Cody left, when all in London was announced, when All in Texas was announced, like, yeah, Cody, you can go through all of it, you know what I mean?
Cody leaving was, I think, the first and only emergency podcast we ever done.
We did an emergency one for Punk, too.
Yeah, okay. I didn't remember if we did an emergency one.
We did.
Yeah, Punk and Cody. So that should tell you how big those
both of them were. Both of them I had to do in my car, like, literally, because I had to find time to do it in between work.
Well, because you got to think about this. At that time, at the time Cody left, at the time CM Punk left, Cody, it was an argument of whether he was still the top guy, because he had his relationship with the fan base had kind of moved. But you could still say he was a top 5 name. And, of course, he was one of the founding fathers. But when CM Punk left, legitimately, not even an argument, he was the number 1 wrestler in the company. As far as people knowing him, popularity, drawing tickets, all that kind of stuff, CM Punk was the number 1 people in the company. So those two things were huge and massive departures from the company. For the book does not, I don't even think the book even addresses them leaving. I have been talking to a friend that read it, and for what I understand, it really doesn't even address them leaving, because that's why I'm saying it's not a coffee table book. Or if you're looking for this deep insider take on AEW and getting all the dirt, from what I understand, there is no dirt in this. There isn't. He didn't. No one got through under the bus. Cody's pictures are in there.
Yeah, and like again,
they
they don't whistle by the graveyard of like stuff that was not necessarily like, or people that just aren't there anymore, or like just time periods that they don't talk about too much. Like they hit everything. Like they obviously don't get more in depth on certain stuff just because they didn't talk to some of the wrestlers who like just straight up weren't there when he wrote the book. Yeah. But I mean, there's 2 or 3 whole pages dedicated to the first dance.
Yeah.
So like, which again, it was a big fucking deal when it happened. So like, it would make no sense if your book covering the history up to now of AEW didn't at least mention it. And like I said, I'm not trying to harp on it or anything like that because it was a thing. It happened. It's done. Everyone's moved their separate ways. We don't need to dig up the old shit. It's just the fact that I feel like if you hide it, you make it worse. And they were the smart people. They mention everything. Joey Janela's in the fucking book. There's a picture of Joey Janela in the book. Like, everybody at least who had a hand in AEW over the years, whether it was for a short or long period of time, whether it ended good or if it's still going, or it ended bad, or if it's still going good now. Like, everyone who has had a hand in this insane brand new wrestling company that has been going now for 6 years straight, everybody who's had a hand in it has gotten at least a mention, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it a really cool get, honestly. And I think people should get it.
And yeah, and definitely. Christmas is coming up, less than a month. I know a lot of people I know, they say, I really, really want it. And I'm like, it's probably going to be your Christmas present.
There you go.
No, but I just want, it was just like I said, it was just like talking to my friend, and I'm not going to say his name because he'll cover it or whatever. And he was just like, I wish they just went deeper into the dirt part of it. And I'm just like, but what company has ever done that?
Yeah. No, they're not going to go into the real dirt, but like,
it's like,
I mean, like,
what company has ever done that in the history?
What company who is they had a hand in making the book too. AEW had a hand in the production of the book.
Yeah.
Now, if this was an unofficial documentation of the history of AEW, then yes, they would touch on every nitty gritty bit, including the stuff that the company doesn't like talking about anymore. But this was made in partnership with the company. Yeah. You're not going to have a dedication of what happened at Brawl Out or what happened when Jack Perry got his shit rocked. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and it's and that's why I said it's like if you go read Walmart's book, it doesn't talk how they went into neighborhoods and lowered the prices so low that mom and pops couldn't keep up until they ran them out of business, and then they raised their prices back up. It's not going to tell you that. That's they're going to be like, oh, we came in and served unserved groups that didn't have access to grocery stores. That's the side you're going to get because to the victor goes the spoils. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So,
yes.
No, so I just, like I said, if you're looking for some deep dive, this is not the book for you. Our boy Sam is going to review the show on the AEW Match Guide. So that should be coming soon. So make sure you check that out. It might even come out in the morning. I don't know. I'll share the link when he does. He read the book, went through the pictures. He's really got some thoughts on what they could have done better with the book, what they come worse, what he liked. So definitely going to shout that out. Like I said, we were going to do a show, but I think I've come up with a better idea. That's a tease. I've heard you work in the business, so that's a tease, right?
Yeah, that is a tease.
Yeah. So hopefully the tease comes through, and I don't just come in and be like, okay, pretty pictures. Because there's one picture that's got FTR, and they got all these belts on, but they're missing two belts that they're missing, and it bugs me that they're missing those belts.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so. Hopefully we can resolve this.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We'll see what we can do. But that is our big news of the week. Definitely give the book a read, give the book a look, and see if it's right for you. I think it's a cool little thing that everyone could check out and get into it. But we'll get into AEW Dynamite, which opened up with a little recap, and then Tony Schiavone, the real one, not the one with Hangman playing the Phantom of the Opera. He comes out, and he's coming out to speak about this national championship that will be coming to AEW, which Do you want to lead off with this before we even get into the main thing? Because they did mention later in the show about what the whole thing is, and that led to another promo afterwards. So I feel like we should touch on it right now.
Okay, because the reason, I mean, I'll say this. This was announced before the show.
Yes, it was announced on social media, and then they confirmed basically later on in the show
how it was going to be decided.
Yeah, and the way that it's going to be decided is that this first AEW National Champion is going to be determined by the winner of a Casino Gauntlet match at Full Gear, and basically we're introducing who's going to be in the match moving forward. So a Casino Gauntlet match is going to crown a brand new champion, a national champion. And yeah, gotta say when they announced it on social media, I was a little bit confused as to like, what exactly is this? Like, is it a belt or is it like a trophy or what are we doing? And then like, it's not related to, the Continental Classic and all that kind of stuff. And it's not related to everything, all the belts that Okada has. I'm just like, so we got another singles championship that we're gonna crown with a Casino Gauntlet match. I'm like,
these are the moments. These are the moments we have to remind you that we're the proclivity for positivity. Because I don't feel like
I'm trying to find in my head like how can I flip this in a positive way, and I'm struggling a little bit. I don't know if you can, Floyd.
So J-Ro hits it up and says, so the point of this title is that the champion is not going to just defend it in AEW. He's going to defend it in New Japan, all sorts of other companies. Okay? And J-Ro, my boy J-Ro, our guy, friend of the show, listens every week. My man asked the question. I think he asked it, wasn't this what the international title was supposed to do? And man, that slapped me in the face with a brick. I was like, yep, that's exactly what they said the International and All-Atlantic Championship was going to be. That it was going to be an AEW title that they went to other companies to defend it. I remember Pac, the initial champion, actually defended it in the UK when he wasn't there. And it was, this is what he was supposed to do. I think Will Ospreay defended it on a show in London, or it was MJF. It was MJF that defended it on the show in London. So this was supposed to be the traveling title, the international title. So now they took the inner out of it and it just did national. So I asked these important questions. First of all, isn't this what the international title was supposed to do? Second of all, who asked for this? Third of all, who is this going to serve? Fourth of all, don't you feel in introducing a new men's belt the same day you're introducing, or you're at the same time you're trying to introduce a women's tag team title, don't you feel like it kind of overshadows the women's tag team title?
Yes, that right there that's honestly my biggest issue.
So the women tag team title can't have its moment. You couldn't have waited until you couldn't have waited till World's End or whatever, or did it in a random Dynamite at Winter is Coming, and the women couldn't have their moment? Just asking. I'm not super guy like women. Everything has to be equal and all that stuff or whatever. Because when I say that, I mean like I think you should promote what sells. But you introduced the women's blood and guts, the women's titles. You are finally serving this very loud women's audience that I see on Twitter. And I was very happy because they're getting their moment in the sun. They're getting what they asked for. The women's blood and guts is coming, and now you have this women's tag team title, something that people have been clamoring for. So it feels like the spotlight in AEW is on the women. This feels like this takes away from that spotlight.
Yeah. No, that's honestly the big thing, is just like, it just feels like the timing of it is wrong. Like, am I against the idea of another singles championship in AEW?
Yes.
Not necessarily. Well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I'm just saying.
Will say you can make a new belt. Me personally, I would like it if you make a new belt that you retire some ones that aren't really getting much usage, or at least are just there and no one really cares. I don't know. I just feel like
you unified the titles. right?
Yes, you unified two of them. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
you unified the international title, which I kind of thought was pointless. Whatever, but you still did it. It's cool. You did it. If you need another title, why not just split up the unified title?
Yeah, especially since Okada still holds all three. Like he holds the Continental, he holds the International, with him now being the unified champion.
Yeah.
Like he holds all three belts. We all thought they were just going to get rid of the last the International and Continental belts. He still has them. He still walks out with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Okada loses the international title to whoever you want to be this national champion, and Okada loses the belt, right? When he loses the belt, oh, okay, he's still a Continental champion. Now this person's the international champion. Boom, go from there. And Okada leaves as the only undisputed, only unified champion ever. So he still keeps that because he's the only unified champion ever. Now he can just go back to being the Continental Classic champion, and then you have the international title. Like I said, the new belt just doesn't make any sense. It seems like everything it does right now. And again, I know this is the initial announcement. Wait and see. Wait and see. I'm a big preacher of wait and see. I am a very big preacher of wait and see. But even like in my initial thing, without seeing anything else, this is all you're getting right now. It just doesn't seem like it makes sense. And I saw someone online was like, I'm going to put out this negative opinion about the national title. And it's like, no one's going to understand. I haven't really seen anything positive about it from other than anybody that works for the company. But generally, people are like, why? Why? And maybe it could be used to build someone like the Daniel Garcias, the Willa Yutas, or whatever, which I thought the TNT belt was supposed to do. So I asked this, again, from the bottom of my heart, as a diehard AEW fan that ain't going nowhere. What is the purpose of this title?
I don't have an answer for you right now.
And then, like I said, now, the answer may come out over the next few months. Mm-hmm. November 7th, 2026, I'll be like, the national title was the greatest thing that ever happened to AEW in AEW history. I could come back because I do believe in allowing my opinions to change based on when I get more evidence and more facts. Mm-hmm. But as of November 7th, 2025, which is when we're recording this, I have no fucking clue why this belt exists.
Yes.
So, whatever. I'm not trying to be rash because I'm not. We only can talk about the facts that we have in evidence right now. Mm-hmm. And right now, you haven't really done anything. And then it seems to be causing a controversy because in the press release, they're referencing the lineage of the national title, right? And there's already an active belt in wrestling from NWA, which actually carries that lineage. Now, let me let you know. I want to make sure this is very clear. I do not give a fuck about the NWA. I could not name 5 people that wrestle for the NWA right now. But when you take this from a company that is smaller, probably has more independent wrestlers, smaller budget, you do look like the bully picking on them. Whether you want to or not, whether that was your intention or not, which I don't think it was. I still have that rose-colored AEW glasses. I don't think it was your intention to just jack the NWA's title and say, screw you, because they're a smaller company. Mm-hmm. But it does look like that's what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
like, I don't care about the NWA. I'm not defending the NWA. I'm not defending Billy Corbin. I genuinely do not care about their existence. I couldn't tell you who their champion is. I didn't until yesterday in his post. I'd probably heard of Mike Mondo, but I couldn't pick the man out of a lineup. If somebody's like, oh, if somebody put up a picture of you and they'd be like, that's Mike Mondo, I'd be like, no, that's Austin. That's the only reason I would know it's not Mike Mondo. Like, I didn't know who this man was until yesterday. So it's not like I'm sitting up here playing a violin and crying for the NWA, but it just like, you kind of look like the bully. And the whole thing about AEW is that you're not WWE.
Yep.
This seems like a very WWE thing to do. And the whole thing about you is that you're not WWE. So
I know AEW has a good relationship with other indies, with wrestlers working those other indies and stuff like that. And obviously their partnerships with CMLL and their partnerships with New Japan prior and stuff like that. And they are way more about trying to have themselves showcase the ecosystem of wrestling outside of just the two major players. But when you do that, you're still, for the most part, really trying to promote your guys as opposed to promote the other guys, because at the end of the day, you're still promoting your show at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's it's a tough spot. It is. And it's the reason why WWE with TNA is it's cool TNA is doing shows, but if TNA was to have some guys go on WWE, the TNA guy loses to the WWE guy every single time.
Yeah. I mean, and again, when it is, there is just so many different names for stuff you can use. There's so many different names. Why did you have to use national title? Why couldn't you come up with something else? Because
the college football playoffs is about to start.
Yeah. I don't have a better name for the title. I don't. It's not my job, so I don't have a better name for the title. But it just seems like the national title and referencing the lineage of the company that already still has the title and all that kind of stuff seems kind of bullyish to me. I'm not saying you're a bully, because I do think it's unintentional. Nothing is going to make me be like, AEW is just being assholes. I don't think they are. Because honestly, in this whole wrestling thing, they could have been bigger assholes to a lot of people if they wanted to be. So don't get me wrong. But I do think that people should listen to the feedback and be like, okay, either come on Collision or Dynamite next week and make sure it's clear that this is the AEW version of the national title. And the only thing that it really has in common with the previous national title is that it's the name and that it's going to be defended on Turner Networks like the old national title being. And I'm just saying, that's not because your fans need to know. Because guess what? Your fans are fairly young. They don't care about the NWA national title.
Right.
But it's so you don't come off looking so much like a dick. Kind of, and like I said, I don't know if you look like a dick, but it's coming off dick-ish.
Yeah. But we've touched on this enough. We can go ahead and get into the actual show. So Tony Khan was going to tell us all about the the national championship. Jesus Christ. We were going to talk about the national championship, but then before he could even say anything else, the Ops came out and basically said, Houston, we have a problem. And Joe proceeds to talk about, there's a term I heard a while ago. It might just apply to the man I'm staring at the ring in. As Tony Schiavone says, I know you were going to say that you had nothing to do with what happened last week. I find that hard to believe. And Schiavone was like, I have so much respect for you. And I'm in the opposite. And Joe's just like, shut up. He's like, you know what? There are consequences for the actions we choose to engage in. And my little Georgia Peach, consequences have come for you. And the Ops surround Tony Schiavone. And that's when security comes out. And Joe's just like, Tony, you're just getting more people hurt in this equation. And that's when Hangman and Adam Page comes out. He clears house and says, you know what? This couldn't have worked out any better. Because now we can take care of two problems at once. Joe keeps talking. That's when Eddie Kingston and Hook come out, though, to even the odds. And that's when Joe is told by Hangman, I can forgive you for being confused. That man's Tony Schiavone, not me. The real Hangman's right here. Because I am your problem. If you want to try to handle your problem, I'll beat your ass in my Wranglers. Product placement. Hook also proceeds to get on the mic and go, so you guys are the Trios Championships. Those belts that you won, yeah? Remember, you won those without me? How about you prove yourself some fighting champions and put them on the line? And Joe was not happy that Hook had stuff to say about him. And he's like, you don't talk to me like that. And you never once a day in your life speak to me like that. And He's like, you want a shot? You want a shot? You got it. We'll kick your ass for the Trios Championships tonight. So it's going to be the Ops versus Hangman Page, Eddie Kingston, and Hook in the main event of Dynamite. Pretty good segment to open things up. I like how they carried it over from how the show ended last week with the Phantom of the Opera duo switch and Tony Schiavone actively, like, it makes sense why Joe would want to, like, 1,000% try to come and kill that dude. So, yeah, I thought this was a really solid segment to open up the show.
I thought this was an exciting segment, but Tony Schiavone's going to get his. Okay? Let me be real. FTR did not successfully get the drop him on his head, and that is something that bothers me. It sits with me. It makes me unsettled. I feel like business has not been finished. So I was like, Samoa Joe, just choke him out a little bit. You ain't got to drop on his head. Just, coquina clutch, So he knows to keep his nose out of people's business. What we finding out is that Tony Schiavone keeps getting saved by these people. Apparently, Tony Schiavone is the only face in AEW with friends. Because every time he's about to get attacked, someone comes up and steps on him. Any other person gets attacked, Tony Schiavone can't take his licks. It's going to happen, Tony. Big Will is coming for you, okay?
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't be ducking.
You can't be ducking. The Ops is coming. Don't get me wrong. It is, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. But you've been dodging these bullets. But we're going to have this conversation with you because, like I said, don't start no shit. Won't be no shit. You started the shit, and then you're like, oh, my God, I didn't want no problem. Yeah, you kind of set Joe up. You set him up, Tony. Come on.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Stand on business. 10 toes down. Like, I like Hangman more than you. Just say it. Just say it.
That easy. It's all you got to do. So,
I mean, you'd probably die shortly after that, but,
Yeah, I was going to say, you might die, but you know what? It's all good. But we then had the first match in the Blood and Guts Advantage matches that took place tonight. The men's side, we had Claudio Castagnoli going up against Orange Cassidy. Really, really, really good match, I will say, though. I mean, obviously, these guys have faced off with the Conglomeration and the Death Riders going at it over the last few months. And I loved especially the spots of when Claudio would throw Orange Cassidy around, but he would just continue the mind games by putting his hands in his pockets, even when he was flat back on the ground. I thought that was very funny. Well, like just lying face first on the ground, I thought was very good. And then there was really, really good stuff, basically, of these guys getting right from the jump going at each other. Yeah, I thought there was also a really strong moment where there was a point where Orange Cassidy, I believe he was going for Stun Dog Millionaire or something, but he was able to flip it and turn it around and then get the giant swing applied on him too. And then the big spot was when OC chased or Claudio to the outside, dove under the turnbuckles, but then Claudio reverses it into a DDT on the floor. But eventually, as the match goes on, Orange Cassidy, he's going for the orange punch, but he gets hit dead straight with an uppercut. That's when he keeps his arm up. He gets an orange punch in midair. Looks like he's going to do another, but then a pop-up uppercut connects, and he would finally get the win. Death Riders take a 1-0 lead in the Blood and Guts Advantage battle. For the first match of the show, it slapped, I felt like. These two guys, it just is cool seeing Claudio going up against a guy like Orange Cassidy, and OC wrestled his ass off in this match, too.
Yeah, this match slapped, and I was really wondering if they were going to, if Orange Cassidy was going to be Claudio. I do like how Claudio has went to the pop-up forearm as his finisher. It's one of the most...
Yeah, the pop-up or uppercut is so good.
Yeah, European uppercut is one of... it's a very devastating move. I like that it's his finisher now because it can kind of come out of anywhere with him being so strong. But I thought this match was really good. First, of, they're supposed to be the first of the three, and it's like they came out of, they came out swinging. So that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. We then moved into Kyle Fletcher was with Renee Paquette, and he was with Don Callis, and basically said they got time for him and Mark Briscoe to have a face-off, and Briscoe was like, I challenged you, Kyle Fletcher, 2 weeks ago for another match for your TNT title, and I got a response from Don Callis, but now I want a response from you. To which he cuts him off right before he's going to say something. He's like, here's my thought process, Kyle. It took a swift kick to the family jewels for you to secure a win against me at Wrestle Dream. And that can't feel good. Not a fulfilling victory. And that's why, that's like if you were like making out with your sister or something like that. And I'm just like, oh boy. Like, hey, Mark, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit on that, because that's like, I was like, that's a little bit too, like, is that common where you from, Mark? Like, what are we bringing that up for? Like, what the fuck?
Yes. I will say this about him. He is from Sandy Fork, Delaware, so whatever. No, I'm just kidding. I have no anybody from Delaware or that area. I was kidding. I literally have no idea if that's a thing.
I'm pretty sure Mark Briscoe is the only person I've ever met from Delaware. I swear to God.
Yes, like, I didn't know people were actually from Delaware.
Yeah.
like.
Legitimately. So basically he's like, I'm trying to help you become a real man, Fletcher, with a real win. So he's like, let's make that null and void, and let's make that meaningless. I want it no disqualification for the TNT title at Full Gear. And Fletcher was like, I mean, she kind of like that. I think that'd be fun, as he says that to Don. And then Don's like, you know what? I like making you happy, Fletcher, so there's something in it for you too, because if you win, you get that TNT title, but I'm going to need something from you. And he's like, you're going to ask for my career, title versus career? Is that what you're asking for? He's like, whoa, I never want to end your career. I love Mark Briscoe as a wrestler. I got something in my mind. When you lose, you will join the Don Callis family, and you will leave those losers in the conglomeration forever. It's like, listen, make it about you for once, not the hungry mouths back in Delaware that you have to feed and send all your money to. What about the conglomeration sucking the life out of you? And Briscoe was just like, you've done enough talking. Hey, you silver-tongued snake. He's like, you're trying to make me do a deal with the devil, but it's the only deal with the devil is on my end if I lose. But damn it, I ain't losing at Full Gear. It's you that made a deal with the devil. You got that, buddy? And there you go. Perfect way for Briscoe to end the promo. Not title versus career, but basically title, and then you sell. You can either win the TNT title or you sell your soul to be.
So yeah, it's title.
Don Callis family number 34.
Dude, AEW people, if you're listening, start labeling it title versus soul match.
Yes,
because that's what this is. Let me tell you, your Mark Briscoe impersonation is very good. I wouldn't say it's spot on, but it's close, so close. I know whose voice you're doing, which is good. Did
my best.
Oh, you did do your best, and it was good. Like I said, you weren't talking about it, and you started doing it, you had the cadence down, so I knew who you were trying to do. Which a lot of times when people are doing, you can't tell who they're like. Who are you impersonating right now? That was a really good one. But yeah, Don is the devil. And he's the devil on the level that MJF only aspires to be. I have to, I mean, Don is like, because he even said it, Kyle wants it, you want it, but what are you going to do for me? How am I going to get my taste? Don Callis is literally the mafia. He is the mafia boss. He is the IRS. He wants his cut, okay? No matter what you do, any business gets done. If Don Callis doesn't get his cut, the business ain't getting done. And since he owns 20% at least of the roster, he's kind of in a power situation right now. This dude is literally, it's funny because the dude owns the other wrestling man. He is the Ari Emanuel of AEW right now.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely.
And like he owns, like he's in everybody's pocket. Oh, you want to make a movie? Well, yeah, I've signed like the 6 people that you want to make the movie with. So yeah, that's how we're gonna do this. So this is crazy. I am genuinely excited about this match because I have no idea how it's gonna go. I have an argument for Mark Briscoe finally winning the TNT title. I definitely have an argument for that. I have an argument for Kyle Fletcher never losing another match ever again because he's Kyle Fletcher, which is, which way I would go. But, it actually makes sense both ways. I think Mark Briscoe being in a faction that he doesn't want to be in, it's always been a trope that has worked in wrestling. I would be entertained. Mark Briscoe having to do like 6-man matches with, all the people in there, and then, having Mark Briscoe with a run with the TNT title. I think that would be a great emotional upswing, for the company. So, because Mark Briscoe's so beloved in the company. So I could see it going both ways.
Oh, sure. Like, this is one of those matches that, like, I think there's enough reasonable doubt where you could be like, where is this going to go exactly?
Like, yeah, if we do our predictions right now, I could not tell you which way I'm leaning. I don't know. It'll come to me as we get there, but right now I have no idea who I would pick.
Yeah. We then go into another segment with Don Callis where he basically confirms the $1 Million Trios match official for Full Gear. Kenny Omega will be teaming up with Jurassic Express to face Josh Alexander and the Young Bucks. $1 million is on the line. And Renee Paquette was interviewing the Bucks and Alexander and Don Callis. And basically he's like, is it safe to say the Young Bucks has joined the Don Callis family with this match? He's like, Matt's like, that's a difficult question. And Callis is like, don't put these guys on the spot. They're top talent. And then he goes, how was the Escalade from the airport? Nick, did you get the care package under your seat? Listen, when I saw what was going on with the company, treating these generational once-in-a-millennium tag teams like they're a couple marks, a couple jobbers, I said, if it takes every last penny in my bank account, I'm going to make sure they get the treatment they deserve because when you guys are with me, you're family. And then he does all that, but then the rest of the family walks in, and Don was like, don't take our word for it. Let's bring in a good friend of yours, the Rainmaker. And he just comes up and he just goes, hi, guys. And that's all he says. And then the Matt is just like, listen, we just need a little bit more time. Appreciate you guys, but that $1 million match sounds awesome. And Don's like, take your time. Give him space. Come on, let's go. And Okada then says, don't take too much time. And then they leave. So Mr. Matt and Nick, or Matthew and Nicholas, is going to have some thinking to do about this because
Okada threatened Matt and Nick.
I was going to say, because I think they might get a good old-fashioned Rainmaker from their former friend if they don't make the quote-unquote right decision.
Yes, and the right decision is joining the Don Callis family, which, they're probably not going to make the right decision. The Young Bucks aren't too bright, so,
Yeah. No, that's 1,000% sure. Like, absolutely. 1,000% certain. We then had the women's tag team championship quarterfinal match between the Babes of Wrath is what they're going by, which is fucking spectacular. Like, I love that team name. Against Athena, the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Forever World Champion, and the 8 belts Monet herself, Mercedes Monet. Wow. I will say, this was really fucking good. Like genuinely really good. And it makes me so happy to see like Willow, Athena, Mercedes, 3 women at the top of their game, holding who have held championships, who have competed at the top of the women's division. And then you have Harley Cameron in there, and like being in the match itself, I feel like elevates Harley Cameron immediately. Because she looked like she belonged with everybody in that ring. Like, I know, like, she had a small little championship match with Mercedes a while back, and then she kind of went back down the card a little bit, and now she's working her way back up a little bit. But like this match, I hope people remember, like shows like she's over, but she doesn't look out of place when she wrestles with everybody in this match. You know what I mean? Like, I love the spot where fucking Athena is able to like flip both Willow and Harley at the same time. Like, that was such a wild spot. I thought, like I said, Harley did a really strong job. Willow, I thought might have been like, it's hard for me to say who the MVP of the match was. Part of me thinks it's Willow, honestly, because she was working damn good in this one. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. And just, man, the match was so good. Like, I really, really enjoyed the way that they performed this match. And then to have Harley go out and get the pinfall win on Athena. Like, holy shit. Like, that's such a huge moment for them. And there you go. The Babes of Wrath move on. They're going to the semifinals, and they will be facing the Sisters of Sin, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. Now, will they beat those two? Not exactly sure. Leaning towards no. But I will tell you right now, I love Willow and Harley together, first of all. But like, I just think, and I'm 1,000% biased, but I think this is just another elevation of Harley in just the way that I feel like people should look at her more. Like, she can wrestle with the best, genuinely, when it comes to this women's division. And I thought this was such a good tag team match. And I think this is the type of matches that you want when you're trying to promote a brand new tag team championship. And I'm glad that this match took place after everything that's been going on with the national championship announcement, because I think this match helps make people remember we got some really talented people chasing after those belts. And I think it's going to lead to an insanely good final, too.
Yeah, completely. Really enjoyed this match. I was not necessarily. It was one of those situations where you couldn't pick a bad winner for me because you have I am a minion, and you had my forever champ Athena in there, and then you had my Willow on the other side. So I do like how they did it as far as Willow hitting her move and then Harley hitting her finisher and getting the pin, because she is considered the quote-unquote weak link. So to get the pin over Athena is cool. Also, if you want to go wrestling rules, I think could the main event, a women's main event, a final battle be Athena versus Harley?
I mean, I'd be into it.
Yeah, Columbus, Ohio's not that far away. I think you might make the trip. But
I'd drive.
Oh, dude. But, no, I really did enjoy this match. I thought it was exciting. Tag team wrestling at its finest. No, but honestly, just a really entertaining match. It's like sometimes you just need a match that keeps it interesting. I think Athena and Mercedes did a good job of letting you know that it actually mattered to them, that they were trying to win. There was no phoning it in. Not that these two women ever phone it in, but this match was so good. And then the run-in with Billy Starks and then Chris Statlander was perfectly timed to lead to Athena taking the loss. And yeah, I really did enjoy this match quite a bit.
1,000%. We then had a in-ring segment with the Hurt Syndicate, where they were coming out basically after the announcement of the championship, national championship being in the Casino Gauntlet. And Shivani introduced basically that Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Syndicate will be in that match. And they asked, like, you know, what if these two have to face off against each other? And they were like, oh, Shivani, no, it's fine. We're businessmen. We always do what's best for business. But the Hurt Syndicate will win. More importantly, the AEW viewing audience will win. That's when the demand came out, and then Ricochet was talking, basically being like how I want to come out here because I give credit where credit is due. The three of us wanted to give Hurt Syndicate the credit they deserve. It doesn't matter how decrepitly old they are. They hobble their asses out to his ring, And now you're talking about championship gold? Like, at your age, I admire that. But look, every time I open my mouth, I'm spitting facts. Every time I have a microphone, it seems like I'm saying I told you so. Because every single one of you morons thought that these three would never win gold again. And look what happened. How's your back, Bob? Ricochet was trying to say more, but he was like, basically, you know what? MVP goes out and says, no one cares what you got to say. Only thing you've done well is get your ass kicked by us. You like to get hurt, and shut your mouth before we do that. And they proceed to say, listen, all you got to know, Ricochet says, is like, at full gear, the demand will be met, and Ricochet will be walking out the inaugural national champion. And MVP Jason says, you talk shit. We hurt people. Run it. They try to get him into the ring. They were not about that, I will say. They were not about that. So, but regardless, that was that segment for the international championship. I mean, the national championship. Honestly, this is a skippable moment, honestly. Like, it was
kind of clunky.
Yeah, to me, I get that they're trying to get the hype built for this Casino Gauntlet and stuff like that. The Hurt Syndicate are over, and having them be announced as the first people in it is cool. And then trying to continue this feud with the Hurt Syndicate and the Demand, like, I get that, but, like, it just didn't feel like, I mean, Ricochet got good heat, but I just feel like there wasn't really that big of a desire for this again. You know what I mean? Like, their match at Wrestle Dream was good. I firmly believe that their match at Wrestle Dream was good, but I didn't think it was going to be more than just a one-time thing. You know what I mean? I didn't think that this feud was going to last longer. Now, I'm fine with them interacting and doing stuff in the Gauntlet and everything like that, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just kind of like, that's kind of what this segment was.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I feel like I've almost felt like the national title was created for Ricochet. I truly do. I think, like, almost as a reward for all the amazing work he's done over the last year, I truly think he's going to be the first champion. Maybe my mind changes by the time we do the preview for Full Gear, but it just feels like this is his title. It was, like, made for him. And because, again, the person that's supposed to be champion is supposed to go around the world and traveling. Got a question. The limited information we have for Bobby Lashley. Do you think he's going to the UK to defend the national title on Rev Pro?
I would be stunned if that was the case.
And like I said, limited information. It ain't like I'm even friends with Bobby Lashley. I've shared a couple nods. That's about it. So, but I'm just saying, from what you see in his work, but I definitely can see Ricochet going to all these different companies.
Oh, sure.
So that's what I'm going to kind of be looking for as they announce the Casino Gauntlet members. I'm going to look for the people that could be a traveling champion like they seem to want to do with this. And I'm hoping they follow through with it last time, because they kind of dipped their toe into traveling last time. I want it to be, I want them to jump fully in. I want this title to be defended at Wrestle Kingdom or wherever you can. But that being said, yeah, I thought MVP like maybe didn't know exactly what the messaging was supposed to be about the belt, and let me just tell you, he named wrestlers. Paul Orndorff. I truly think deep cut for anybody under 30. Nikita Koloff. Are you familiar with Nikita Koloff, Austin?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I'm just saying some of the names he said got no noise. Then he said Dusty Rhodes, which is the cheap pop of all cheap pops. Now, like, you can just say Dusty Rhodes. You can be like, you know what? I was Dusty Rhodes. You can just throw it out there and it's going to get a pop because he's fucking Dusty Rhodes, one of the most beloved people of all time. So that was the right one. I would have probably just stuck with Dusty Rhodes, but hey, you know what? I don't do this for a living. This is what MVP's been doing. This dude is the black belt in professional wrestling. I'm a novice at best. So that being said, but it did feel like this came off clunky. I don't think it got the gravitas of what you were trying to get through on the national title. They may be able to do something. I think we have 4 shows left before Full Gear, so maybe they can do something with that to try to really get out, come with a video package talking about what this title is going to mean, that it's going to be defended at CMLL, Rev Pro. I want to name the companies, name the names. He's going to be on Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Like, this guy is going to be the worker, the representative of AEW. That's why it means something. And yeah, so make me care. Because right now, I don't care about this title. Make me care.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Like, I mean, you want to make me care, you can absolutely make me care. But at this point in time, yeah, we're not really locked into this at the moment. So, but moving forward from this, though, we go into, honestly, I will give credit where credit is due. This is a quick little backstage segment. Jack Perry made me laugh. And intentionally made me laugh. Jack Perry basically said there are some more things that are important by money, like friendship. And he goes, Bucks, I know you guys are going through a real rough patch. This should help. He has a $100 bill outside the Don Callis family's locker room, puts it right there, knife directly into the $100 bill, and walks away. That corny. But Luchasaurus goes back for the $100 bill, to which Jack just says, leave it. And he's like, Rrr. That shit made me laugh. Like, I will give, that is a, if I was Simon Miller, I would give Jack Perry an up there. He made me laugh. That was honestly well done. It was a small segment. It didn't overstay its welcome. He was definitely cringy as fuck with the knife shit, but the leave it was great. I give credit where credit is due. That made me laugh.
That was pretty funny. Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Blood and Guts Advantage match number 2, Daniel Garcia versus Darby Allin. Darby had to win this to make sure to avoid, match 3 basically not, like if he lost this, basically there would be no match 3. Like he had to win this in order to be able to force a match 3 in the advantage battles. And yeah, this match was pretty dang good.
I will say this match was good. I'd rather it had not been Daniel Garcia taking this loss. I would rather Willa You'd have been in the match.
Correct. I agree.
But the match was a banger, especially.
I thought Daniel, again, I liked how physical Daniel was. He was really showing, like, I feel like the thing with the Death Riders is, when you join the Death Riders, I should see you wrestle more physically. I should see your style change when in terms of your wrestling. So I like how Daniel's wrestling right now, and I like how he's changed how he operates in the ring. Like, and it is noticeable, I think. Am I seeing ghosts on that, or like
no? He definitely. I'm not gonna say he's wrestling like Mox, but it's Mox, but it's Mox-ish.
Yes,
it's in the way of he's doing all of Daniel Garcia's moves, but he's doing it at a pace and an aggression that I generally line with Mox.
Yes, 1,000%. I thought him choking Darby Allin with the turnbuckle was a vicious spot, first of all. And then I really, like, every time Darby gets thrown over the steel steps, it's always vicious, I feel like. The reversal into the Scorpion Death Drop got a huge pop. So that was really cool. And as the match went on, though, that's when Pac comes out and blindsides him. And that's when it's not looking good, but that's when Darby thankfully is able to beat a count out. He takes some vicious chops from Daniel Garcia, but he will not say die. And basically after he proceeds to get back up, he takes some time, gets a Scorpion Deathlock in, and then also howls like Sting at the same time, which is very cool. No, actually, sorry. No, I'm saying the wrong thing. Garcia put a Scorpion Deathlock on to Darby Allin. He howled like Sting to make fun of it. Darby got to the ropes. He pulled him back. That's when he reversed it, and he got his own Scorpion Deathlock. That's what I meant to say. And then got Garcia to tap out to the Scorpion Deathlock and would force match 3 between Moxley and Roderick Strong on Saturday at Collision to determine who gets the advantage in Blood and Guts. Pac then comes out to try to get his get his heat back and get some extra damage in on Darby Allin going into Blood and Guts. Orange Cassidy comes out. Wheeler Yuta then comes out. Claudio comes out. And Roderick Strong enters in. But then as it keeps going, Moxley comes down, takes down Kyle O'Reilly. All this is going on. And Pac hits a pile driver on Orange Cassidy. Claudio hits a neutralizer on Darby Allin. And then Moxley takes Kyle O'Reilly. And that's when Roderick Strong comes in. And then he is able to help push the Death Riders out of there. So putting in a little bit more damage going into Blood and Guts, and also teasing that third match on Collision between Roderick Strong and Jon Moxley. Yes,
very good segment. I enjoyed pretty much everything about it, especially the Death Riders coming out on top. With this Blood and Guts, again, when it comes to this Blood and Guts, and I guess we can talk about it when we get there, but it does need some more stakes. It needs some heavy stuff to go along with it.
Yes.
Because I felt like, to a point, the Darby tapping out Jon Moxley was the resolution of the Darby-Jon Moxley feud. And now it's going on for some reason. And so make me care.
Yep. Just got to make us care. That's all. Speaking of making us care, Dax and Cash came out, and they were mad basically because they thought they should still be 3-time World Tag Team Champions if it wasn't for Brodito winning at Forbidden Door. That's when Cash was like, I want to talk to Brodito face to face. Their music played, but they don't come out, and that's because Brodito's locker room is locked, and Big Stoke is just like standing there and being like, oh no, hey listen, it's all good. Like, I've been trying to get them out there all night. They're stuck. He's like, have you watched The Wire? You know what? It's on Max. You should watch it, honestly. So Big Stoke locked Brodito in their locker room, and that allowed Dax and Cash to get a little bit involved with Bandito's family. Floyd, did you want to touch on this?
Okay, so first of all, I didn't really understand the purpose of locking them in a thing, but I guess this was to get Dax time with the abuela. So Dax comes over, and, he does his best to speak the abuela's language. English is not
his best, yeah.
English is not his first language, so he's talking to her and says, hey, we want you to be our abuela, And he's very complimentary. And he's just like, just being such a good person. And then this lady slaps him.
That's pretty crazy, huh?
And I didn't understand it. I mean, he didn't put his hands on her. She assaulted him. I was like, I didn't know where the security, I didn't know where Sam was, I didn't know where Dave was, I didn't know where Shane was. This woman should have been arrested for putting her hands on the one half of the greatest tag teams of all time. He is a national treasure. So to do this to Dax in Texas, he lowered himself to go to that stupid state. And, he lowered himself to go to that stupid state. And then that's how he is. He walks out getting insulted. I did not appreciate this. Dax, on behalf of the shitty state of Texas, I apologize to you. And hopefully, the next time we come, I'll be there. And I will beat up an old lady for FTR. Boom. There it goes,
Yeah. Well, then as that's going on, though, it cuts back to the banging on the door, and that's when Big Stoke is he's watching The Wire, actually, on his phone, and that's when Brody King's fist comes out of the door and grabs Big Stoke around the throat. He's freaking out and runs away, and that's when eventually they escape, and then they run to the ring, and they're about to beat up Gravity for the stuffed pile driver, but that's when Brody and Bandito come out and save Gravity and chase off FTR. The spot of Stoke getting choked out made the entire segment, I feel like. Like that spot, that moment of Stoke chilling on, like just chilling on his phone, watching TV shows, and then getting Brody's big ass arm through the door, choking him out. That was straight out of a horror movie, and it was amazing.
Yes, and some people have placed it to Brody's Gods Hate Music, And they've done such a good job with that edit. Again, I don't want anything happening to Stoke. He is my avatar in life. So I did not like that he was choked out. But then they added music to it. And you add music to anything, it makes it cooler. So, I'm less mad, but I'm still mad.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Like, I understand. But it was very funny stuff. But we go into the penultimate match of the show. We had the Blood and Guts Advantage Battle Match 1 for the women's Blood and Guts match. Megan Bayne versus Mina Shirakawa. Timeless Toni Storm came out and she was going to be on commentary for the match. Her first appearance since she lost the women's title at Wrestle Dream. Or lost to Chris Statlander at Wrestle Dream. And we go into Mina Shirakawa versus Megan Bayne. Genuinely, good match. Good match. I liked Mina getting her stuff in there. There was a good dive to the outside. The avalanche fall-away slam from Megan Bayne from the second rope, that looked like it hurt. Like, Mina took a tough bump on that, honestly. I loved the moment where Mina Shirakawa was able to get the suplex on the apron. I thought that was really nice. Tony was ridiculous on commentary, as always entertaining. There was a moment, though, where she gets choked out from behind by Marina Shafir, which was a crazy moment for sure. Like, she's just rocking a basketball jersey and all, and just chokes her out from behind after Megan Bayne hits a Liger Bomb to get the win over Mina Shirakawa to take a 1-0 lead for them in Blood and Guts Advantage. And then they throw her into the ring, and then they're going to double team Mina Shirakawa. That's when Toni Storm comes out, and she's got a steel chair. Triangle of Madness come out. Jamie Hayter, Will Nightingale, Harley Cameron come out. And then, excuse me, my apologies. Mercedes Moné comes out, and she's like, you know what? Nah, I don't need to get involved with this. This is not worth my time. But Chris Statlander is there with the TBS Championship and takes her down. They get in the ring, and everyone's fighting for Blood and Guts. And, it was a cool moment to get that. This was the nice little go-home moment for Blood and Guts for the women's match on Dynamite. Obviously, we'll get the other matches for Blood and Guts Advantage on Collision.
Yes, this was a great, exciting part of it. This is the thing that generally happens whenever you're going to have a battle royal or something where all the people come out. I thought this was really cool. I can't get over Megan Bayne. There was this funny moment, and I'm not calling anybody out, not botch calling. I just thought it was funny. Where when there were more bad guys than good guys in the ring, Marina Shafir was just kind of standing there, and she didn't know what to do. She didn't know who to hit, and I was just like, "This is hilarious." It made me laugh. It would, like I said, if you take it as anything more than a comical moment, that's on you. I just thought it was funny. And then they came out and everybody started fighting. I did love her choking out Toni Storm.
That was a great moment.
I kind of and Toni Storm kind of just, threw her away. You know what I mean? It was like she was choking her out, and then all of a sudden she wasn't choking her out anymore, and that was kind of funny. But I thought this whole thing was just really cool. So
it was very cool.
Yeah, and I thought, I'm like, again, I do think we lost Queen Aminata. We didn't talk about that really.
Yes.
We lost her to an injury, and that sucks. I really want to talk about that because she is one of the reasons this is going on. The Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata versus the Triangle of Madness is the reason Blood and Guts happening. It has lost a little bit without her being in. I'm not saying the other woman won't do amazing, but the good Queen has been around, and she, every time she's stuck in a situation or a match or whatever, she always performs up to that level. She always kills it. I love her hard-hitting style, so it does upset me. Like, me saying I'm upset that she's not in it, it's just because I think she had worked really, really hard to be in that moment, and it sucks that she's not going to be in it. Not that I don't think that the women that are going to be in it are going to do a good job.
No, absolutely. It is a bummer for Aminata. Hope she heals up. But yeah, it's tough. I get that, but I'm still very excited about what we got coming up with the Blood and Guts match, though. I think that's going to be very, very entertaining. We then get into the main event. The World Trios Championships were on the line as the Omps defended their titles against Hook, Eddie Kingston, and the AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page. And I think it was a good main event. It wasn't insanely good. I thought it was good, though. Like, I thought everyone was able to get some good stuff in. I liked Hook's involvement in the match, honestly. I thought there were some really good moments where he got to shine. Specifically where he got to just toss Powerhouse Hobbs, I thought was a really good moment. The moment where Powerhouse Hobbs takes Hangman and basically World's Strongest slams him to the outside of the floor through a table was a crazy spot. And then Hangman was able to get some really good stuff in against Shibata. And then Hobbs is able to get into the ring after he puts Hangman through a table. Torture rack on Hook. Hook is forced to tap out, and the Ops retain their trios championships. And then that's when we found out that Hangman Page and Powerhouse Hobbs will be facing each other next week in a Falls Count Anywhere match in Greensboro, North Carolina, during the Blood and Guts episode of Dynamite, which, holy shit. Like, my goodness. Like, what a stacked card we got next week.
Yeah, call me a prophet, but shortly before this match, I was like, I need Will Hobbs versus Hangman on a Dynamite before the pay-per-view. And I told JR that, and he was like, oh, they might do that. And then he did the World's Strongest Slam, and I was like, oh, they're doing the match next week. Now, I thought that was fucking cool. Let me tell you, small critique.
Okay.
Shibata cannot be a heel for me. I can't root against him. That man's skull came out of his head during the match, and he came back to wrestle. I cannot root against Shibata.
I get it. Honestly,
it's impossible. It's impossible. I just can't. He could punch someone I love, and I'd be like, but his head, he had brain surgery, so he
right. No, I get this.
So it's just like somebody is such a sympathetic figure. I don't know if they could be healing it. I actually feel that same way about Eddie Kingston. I don't think he could do it. If he ever pulled off becoming heel to the point where fans actually hate him, I would be shocked. He is presented as such a lovable, huggable figure now that you don't want him to be the bad guy. But, yeah, Shibata, very much. He's probably been a heel at some point in his career. I can't say I am 100% on the history of Shibata. I can't even say I'm 40% on the history of Shibata. So, if I don't know exactly if he's ever been a heel, which, it's wrestling. He's probably been a heel at some point. But, like I said, I don't really buy him as a heel. I just like, oh, it's Shibata, and he's kicking people in the face, whatever. It's like, if he kicks you in the face, you kind of deserve it, kind of thing. I can't root against him. I'm trying to talk myself into hating him, and I can't. Then you got Will Hobbs in the Ops. So everyone, if you listen to the show more than twice, you know how I feel about my boy Will Hobbs and how I just want him to do everything. So when he power slammed Hangman, someone that I don't necessarily have the greatest positive feelings about.
I was saying, you felt some type of way.
That kind of made me happy. So I'm like, I'm kind of having a problem booing the Ops right now. Like, FTR, that's, it's a gimmick. They're my boys. I'm going to say everything they do is right. But I generally try to go along with what the show's trying to sell me. And I'm like, I don't want to boo the Ops. I just don't. I like them all. I love Joe. I love Will Hobbs. I'm supposed to be booing them, but I don't want to boo them. So I'm like, that's just a little thing. That's just probably my own inner struggle. Probably nobody else is having that issue. I don't really want to boo the Ops.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, if Joe won, I wouldn't be mad. It's like I want to.
I get it.
I want to cheer for the good guy and boo the bad guy, but in this situation, I'm having a hard time with that. Okay, but no, looking forward to Will Hobbs and Hangman. I will say this because this No, we're about to do the review of Collision. I will say that in a minute. So let's talk about Collision. What do you got on
so
it?
basically, for Collision, because this one wasn't taped, correct? This one will be live in Houston.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yes.
Live Saturday.
Okay, so we're gonna have obviously match 3 of the Blood and Guts Advantage battle, Roderick Strong versus Jon Moxley. We're gonna have that. And then we're going to have the other 2 matches in the Blood and Guts Advantage battle. First, Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue. We need a win from Jamie Hayter in order to force match 3, which would be Harley Cameron versus Thekla. It's going to happen. I feel like it's just, that's what it is. And that is what we got.
So far. So
far, yeah. I don't know if we're going to have another women's tag team tournament quarterfinal because we still have Windsor and Riho versus Tony and Mina Shirakawa, and then Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir versus TJ are 2 more matches we still need from the women's tag team championship quarterfinal, and then those 2 would move on, and then obviously we still have Sisters of Sin versus Willow and Harley, which that will probably take place in 2 weeks' time, I would think, if we're being honest.
Okay. I want to... when it comes to that show, we know you're going to get 3 more matches. I think they added a Mox match earlier today. I was not sure. Mm-hmm. Did they add the Mox match? Did you just mention that?
Yeah, it's the Mox versus Roderick Strong match.
That would be the third
That's
spot.
The Advantage battle. Yeah. That's the third one for the Advantage battle, yes.
And I will continue on my Roderick Strong should be in the Death Riders gimmick. And I will let you know, there was once a War Games in Houston, Texas. I was there. And it was 3-team War Games. And, Roderick Strong came dressed out as, he came dressed out as the author of Pain or whatever. Yep. By the end of the show, he was on the side he was supposed to be on. So maybe he'll be a Death Rider. Maybe. We'll see. But yes, he should be in the Death Riders. And I'm not just saying because his wife is there. His wrestling style just aligns with the Death Riders. Him and Kyle. Kyle's personality aligns with the conglomeration. But how he wrestles, he's a Death Rider. So, I don't know. Just always seems funny. Think about it. He's a submission expert, like strikes and all that stuff. No nonsense wrestling. That's both of them. They kind of belong with the Death Riders.
But, I get it though.
The conglomeration. Now, I do know there's some people out there that don't like the sitcom entrance of the conglomeration. To that I say, I don't care about your opinion. It's the greatest thing ever. As a person that you will not made a bigger fan of 80 sitcoms and 90 sitcoms than me. So when they did it, I have never, ever cared about the conglomeration. I almost bought a shirt because I am all about...
Entrance video is so good.
Dude, TV shows if you didn't even watch Family Matters and Full House and all that stuff, you knew their entrance songs. Their songs probably could... if they had a way of doing it, if they had YouTube, their songs... and stuff would have charted. That's how much people love the theme songs of those TV shows. So the fact that the conglomeration has some kind of throwback to that, and they are a ragtag group. They literally, most of them don't have anything in common other than, they like to wrestle together. So I dig it. And if you don't, I understand. You just don't like fun, and you don't like happiness, and you don't like rainbows, and you probably never had sprinkles on your ice cream. I'm just saying. Sprinkles on ice cream is just for happiness. They really don't add any flavor. It's just for happiness.
Yeah, I get that though. But that was Dynamite. It was a good build-up show, I will say. The show was a really solid setup for Blood and Guts next week, and had some really good matches on there. So I thought it was a really nice Dynamite that's going to set up for the insanity that Blood and Guts is going to bring next week.
Yes. And yes, so 3 matches announced. Those are the 2 Blood and Guts matches and the Hangman match. And tell me where you are, I think that's all the show should be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they should add anything. I don't think there should be a late ad. I don't think there should be anything. I think it should be blood and guts. I
mean, the matches take so long. I honestly don't know how you could have more than those 3 matches.
It is a 2.5-hour show, so they did announce that. But I will say this: yeah, you do the men's match first. Again, you hear me saying this. You do the men's match first.
I agree.
Then you do Hangman versus Will Hobbs. Then you do the women's match last.
Yes, I agree.
If the women's match is not last, you will be hearing about it from the show.
I will be right there with you with the same mindset.
The women's match should be last. I don't know what big moment you have to draw up to justify it being last. That ain't my job. You know, I am a fan that watches the show. My job is, as a fan, I'm going to tell you what call can get you the best goodwill with your fan base. The women's match needs to end the show. I don't even know. You probably already decided the women's match is going to end the show. And what I'm saying here doesn't mean anything. I don't care. I'm still saying it. The women's match needs to end the show. I don't care if Swerve is coming back. I don't care if Ospreay is coming right out of rehab. I don't care if Jericho's making his big return. All that can be done at the beginning of the show. The women's match needs to go on last. That's how I feel.
That's how I feel too, dog. That's how I feel too. But yeah, good Dynamite. And then, of course, for next week, yep. And then, of course, for Blood and Guts, we have the 2 Blood and Guts matches. Death Riders versus Darby Allin, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly. Basically, Darby and the conglomeration. And then Mercedes Moné, Megan Bayne, Marina Shafir in the Triangle of Madness facing Chris Statlander, Tony Storm, Willow Nightingale, Mina Shirakawa, Jamie Hayter, Harley Cameron. And then the Falls Count Anywhere match between Hangman Page and Powerhouse Hobbs. And that right there is what we have for Blood and Guts Dynamite next week. Should be a wild fucking time.
Yep, you know what to do. You know how to make this right. AEW. I'm really excited for Blood and Guts. Trying to get some people to come over for it. It's going to be a good show. But, execute. This is one of those shows. I think there are at least going to be a nominal amount of people tuning in that may not have tuned in already because cage matches draw people. And to steal a line from Black Panther, show them who you are. So this is a time to, chance one of a few chances you actually have to actually expand the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go crazy, dog. I mean, let's have these matches slap. I mean, we know, like, I know you mentioned it earlier about the stakes of it and all that kind of stuff. I feel like there's a chance that you can add a little bit more stakes to it on Collision. But I do think it's just because I think the Death Riders lost a lot of momentum after All In. Now have a chance to maybe get a little bit of momentum back with this match. But yeah, the women's one is way more intriguing than the men's one at this point in time. And for obvious reasons, we want to see what they can do. It's the first one ever. So like, I think there's a chance that more stakes can be added for the men's one with a good Collision performance and some nice moments there.
So I gotta ask. So we're not gonna do another show before it. So we kind of gotta give our Blood and Guts predictions, don't we?
Yeah. My predictions are as follows: Death Riders win, babyface women win, Hangman wins. That's my prediction.
My prediction is Hangman wins. I think, because somebody has to say I quit. So,
Sky Blue.
I think your girl's gonna be the one that quits. I think Harley's gonna quit.
I feel like it makes sense for them to really go after Harley since she is the one that I feel like is the odd woman out of the whole match.
Yeah.
Like maybe her and Mina, but I could see a point in the match of where they like really try to put her through hell to try to make her quit.
Yeah, because my whole thing is this. I was looking at the hillside and I'm just like, I don't really see it. I could see Harley sacrificing herself for Chris Statlander and then quitting. That's kind of how I see it.
You know what? Honestly, makes sense. Like when you say it, it absolutely makes sense. But I will say I'm sticking with my opinion, though.
On the heel side, Mox quits. I think Mox quits. That's the whole thing that it's been building up to. It's Mox is a quitter. The match is about quitting. Mox is gonna quit. I'd rather the Death Riders win. Maybe get a special appearance from the unsung Death Rider Gabe Kidd that's not always around, but or Roderick Strong turns on them or whatever. But my initial reaction was Death Riders win, but I feel like the story they've been telling for a couple months now is that Mox is a quitter. So Mox has to quit, and then we end that segment with the Death Riders getting rid of Mox, beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, I can see that too. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun show. I'm really, really excited about it.
Yes. Like I say, I'm terrified of Mox ever leaving the Death Riders because I just don't know who has the charisma to pull off the Death Riders.
It's his group and his group alone.
Well, yeah, it's literally the Death Riders. It's named after him. Mox was the Death Rider in AEW. It's like, when in New Japan, that was his thing, was the Death Rider. His finisher was called the Death Rider. There is no Death Rider without Mox, but I feel like it's leaning towards him getting kicked out of the group. So we will see. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what goes on there. And again, I don't think one of the few things I'll say is I love when wrestling has it where I don't know for certain who's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know for certain. Something's going to come out of this. It's going to lead to Full Gear and want to see it. And, maybe Mox finally gets a break. I don't think he likes breaks, but I think he finally gets one.
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, that is, I believe, everything we have for this episode of All Things Elite, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the support, and we're excited for next week when Blood and Guts takes place. I'm hoping everyone at home is excited for Blood and Guts. Be sure to tune in next week for our episode on Blood and Guts when it happens. If you want to make sure you don't miss the episode, rate, review, subscribe, download the show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to us on, and share us around with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. And then be sure to follow us on Twitter. We are at ATElitePod on Twitter. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Szumowicz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Go to Chop Tees, get a t-shirt, and sign up for the Social Suplex newsletter. Link is in the description of this show. And I will pass it off to Floyd so he can take us home on this episode of All Things Elite.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with November, but I have seen a lot of my friends right now, they're going through big events and struggling and stuff like that. So I just want to just send out a general, all the way through, best wishes, feel better, all the positive vibes to everywhere. Because it feels like, not just my friends need it, but the kind of world needs the positive vibes. So yeah, all that energy is coming from me. You know where I stand on it. I'm like, I'm praying for you, and God bless you. That's my personal beliefs. But whatever you believe in, if you don't believe in anything, just in the positive energy of nature that we've all accepted happens. Do whatever you can, because there are people around you. They are struggling. If you can help, you're in a position to help, do it. If you're not in a position to help, all you can send is positive vibes and try to be there for them. But it's just one of those things. It's like, you got to care about the people around you. You got to take care of the people around you. This is a common message for me on this. Is like, you may not be able to save the world. You may not be able to change the world. But you can change the lives, and you can help the lives of people closest to you. And in their eyes, it'll feel like the world is changing. So do that. Be good. And whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.